word, Anthony was the kind of guy who avoided the spotlight, preferring to lead by example. Of course, that really stopped the spotlight from finding him. A four-year starter for the Banning High School Broncos, when the team starting quarterback was ruled academically ineligible, Anthony, a 6-foot, 210-pound fullback, volunteered to take his place. He had never played the position before, but that didn't stop the Broncos captain from making all conference. Anthony was also captain of the swim team. Swimmers! That's a whole other conference. I'm not even going to get myself in trouble about that. Let's just say, I don't know what he did wrong. Okay, anyway. That is so interesting. And if any of you blog about it, I will kill you. Okay. So anyway, he was captain of the swim team, a member of the wrestling squad, and part of the yearbook staff. Despite his being the big man on campus, freshmen felt comfortable enough around him to ask for his help if they were being bullied by underclassmen. Teachers loved him and the girls adored him. In 6 years, there had been only one graduation party the principal stayed at until the end. It was Anthony's. He was just an amazing kid. He gave up a lot to the people around him, he said. When he graduated, we all knew he was going to go on to do some amazing things in life. Then something like this happens. It's always tragic when one of your kids dies, and I consider all of my students my kids. But it's especially hard when someone's so special. It is said that God works in mysterious ways. Today, the people of Banning, California are trying to figure out why he called this beautiful soul home after only 19 years. Anthony died last week after the driver of the truck he was riding lost control of a vehicle and crashed more than 120 feet into a ravine. His funeral is today. I never had the pleasure of meeting Anthony, but when I read about his story, tears filled my eyes. In large part because he died so young, but also because he lived so courageously. You see, Michael Anthony Castro, three-sport star athlete and the most popular kid in school, was openly gay. He came out when he was a sophomore. He caught a lot of crap over the first 6 to 9 months after coming out, said Phil Tackett, Banning High School counselor. Sometimes he would come into my office and ask if he could just spend the rest of the day there. He said that he couldn't take being called faggot anymore that day and just needed a break. He even thought about quitting sports, but over time, Anthony just got tired of the other kids making him feel bad for who he was. One day he was in practice and one of the other wrestlers was giving him a bunch of crap about being gay. Anthony looked at the kid and said, "You have a problem with me? Why don't we take this to the mat?" This guy weighed in the heaviest division, but Anthony pinned him in less than 30 seconds. That guy never said anything else again.
Yeah!
We're a redneck little town out here, Tackett said. My partner and I are always scared living here because we always thought our asses would get kicked. But Anthony taught me a lot. He taught us all a lot. He made it okay to be gay. Garth Jensen, Banning's high school coach, said his fondest memory of Anthony is watching him run over a linebacker during an option play. You know, normally the QB just slides out of bounds, but Anthony just lowered his shoulder and bam, the guy never knew what hit him. Jensen said that when Anthony was a student, he had heard rumors his team captain was gay, but that he didn't know for sure until the memorial service held at the high school shortly after last week's accident. But not that it mattered to him. No one wanted to win more than him, Jensen said. He was a workhorse on the field and a really great kid off of it. After graduation, Anthony attended Riverside Community College and moved in with his boyfriend, Cody, who had graduated from Banning High School 4 years earlier and competed in football, swim, and track teams there. I was too scared to come out when I was in high school. There were no gay people when I was there, and it was very tough to be openly gay outside of school because we lived in a very small town. But if there's one thing that Anthony taught me, it's to not be afraid. I love him very much. He changed my life, and I'll never be the same without him. And neither will Banning High. Tackett said there are now 10 openly gay students at the high school that he's aware of, and the community is a lot more tolerant. Anthony changed a lot of people's attitudes about gay people by simply having the strength to follow his heart. As I looked over my notes detailing Anthony's life, I was reminded of a line from one of my favorite Dolly Parton songs, Traveling Through. God made me for a reason, and nothing is in vain. Redemption comes in many shapes with many kinds of pain. Oh, sweet Jesus, if you're listening, keep me ever close to you as I'm stumbling, tumbling, wandering, as I'm traveling through. It was then that I decided to dedicate my weekly column to Anthony by renaming it Traveling Through. It will serve as a constant reminder to me that one of the most important things any of us can do is be ourselves. You just never know who's counting on us to do so.